Hello and welcome to Dukascopy TV. I'm Andrew Saks-McLeod, Chief Executive Officer of Finance Feeds. And today, joining me in the studio here in Geneva, Switzerland, is Bart Burggraaf. Hi, Bart.
Hi, Andrew.
And Bart is partner at MediaGroup Worldwide, which is a specialist marketing agency for our industry and the wider financial services sector, and manages the London operations of the company.
That's right.
Today, we're going to talk about non-paid marketing, among other things.
It's an interesting term, Andrew.
It certainly is. What is that exactly?
I don't mean to coin it or something like this. I'm sure there are better terms for this. It's just to say that there are a lot of subjects that we can talk about with regards to paid advertising, and it's certainly the majority of focus for a lot of companies in terms of acquisition. But there's a lot to be said about non-paid marketing. So social media, content marketing, content corporations, PR in general, sort of more old school. So all of these things have in common that with good content and a proper operation, you'll be able to get in front of customers without paying for it.
That's amazing. With no pay. Content marketing, that's that's obviously something we all know about. Non-paid marketing is kind of something which will make you sit up and listen.
Right.
Because everybody wants to know how to do that. Content marketing without any cost, how can that work?
Well, I mean, there's always some cost, and some of the better operations obviously also use advertising to promote their content. But just perhaps to back it up a little bit, an operation like Dukascopy, like Daily FX from FXCM, like the trading floor from Saks-McLeod,
yes,
these are all content-focused operations that use their content to sort of be a thought leader in the industry, that cooperate with other publishers, that make sure that customers know and trust them because of this content. I think are doing a great service to their acquisition.
Yeah, most certainly.
I think FXCM gets a large part of their new customers through their Daily FX site.
I'm sure they do, and it's all unique content as well. So therefore, once it's uploaded onto the internet, the Google crawlers are seeing that FXCM, big public company, they know there's lots of content, it's all unique. Therefore, there's no possibility of having any downgrading because of this.
Well, it's a separate website, but still, because they often link to their site and other reasons, there's a lot of benefit from an SEO point of view.
There is indeed, yes.
And then secondly, of course, they get to advertise to this audience. This audience knows that this is an FXCM analyst that's speaking here. And this sort of work is pretty common. I mean, people in banks have been putting out market research for ages, but in the new ages of internet and the digital market space, it's gotten a lot more efficient. There are a lot better ways to put your content out there, and rather than relying on other publications to do the promotion for you, companies are becoming publishers themselves. So
they are indeed.
That's a very noteworthy.
Yes, they are. This dates back to the older days of in the early part of the 2000s, in the early part of the millennium. You had companies like Thomson Reuters spearheading this kind of way of doing things. You have guys who are well known in the industry, like Jamie Coleman, he spent 10 years at Thomson Reuters as managing editor. Mm-hmm. So they were turning effectively a institutional company into a publishing house.
Right.
And then he went off to do FX Beat, which was a voice, very charismatic kind of voice markets, editorial thought about the markets and so forth. Very interesting indeed. This was the early days. Now you have social, as you mentioned, content marketing can be married to social media in a way, because Saxo Bank is a good example. They launched earlier in the year Saxo Strats, which is effectively that kind of content marketing, but put out to its audience via Twitter.
Right. So I think social media are great as a distribution tool, right? If your audience is on Facebook or Twitter, they're going to be interested in your content, and
yes,
that's an amazing way of getting your content out there. But there is something beyond that.
There is, yeah.
There is the interaction, there is the customer service, and the other aspects that come along with it that help a company succeed in the among the millennial audience, but also the other generations that are now getting used to getting public support.
They are, and the millennial audience, we've certainly, this subject we've gone into before, the millennial audience will look at social media and content marketing from an interactive point of view rather than passive.
Right.
They won't necessarily, I'm not an expert on how this particular aspect works, but social media such as Twitter, there are experts who work in some of these companies who work within the marketing departments who work out how they can increase their reach via social media and see
right.
who else can pick up their social media channels. However, if that's passive, I think that the millennials will want it interactive, so that's a way of the customer being reached by the company and then kept engaged. Mm-hmm. And if there can be a way of putting that inside the trading platform, then you've got a very good retention tool.
Well, there are some that are trying this. I think Saks is an example of that.
It is, with the new Go platform.
Right.
Yes.
Well, the thing about social media is that it's a democratizing tool. Especially millennials feel that they should be on the same level as an analyst, as a writer. Mm-hmm. Whereas before it was sort of publications and authors that were writing to an audience from an ivory tower.
Yeah, that's right.
Like people feel much more on a certain equal level, and that's why you see lots of interactions on sites like this if it's done well, and also in social media. You
most certainly do, and I think that's probably the future. It's also if the way of the distribution can be worked out properly and it can be interactive,
right.
Massive money saving.
Well, so you say that, but there are lots of companies now that are pushing out research that are getting sort of lost in the vast amount of content that is being put out by brokers. So now they start to pay for promotion of their content via native advertising.
I see.
And this is a very fast growing industry because of that. So advertisers became publishers and publishers became advertisers, and I think it's going to end up the other way around at some point again.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that works out. Thank you very much for joining us again, Bart. Good to see you. That's Bart Burggraaf, partner at MediaGroup Worldwide. I'm Andrew Saks-McLeod, CEO of Finance Feeds. You're watching Dukascopy TV. Thank you for joining us. See you next time. Goodbye.